Okay, good evening and welcome to the first meeting of the new municipal year for town and community. Agenda item number 1 is the election of the chair. To elect the chair of a committee for the 25-26 municipal year. Do I have any nominations? Councillor Hunt?
I'd like to nominate Councillor Lambert to continue on from last year.
Fantastic.
I'd like to second that.
Would you like to speak to any of the nominations? All in favour? Thank you. Congratulations. Well done.
I'd like to start by thanking Rory and Jill for those kind words.
They were brief.
Yeah, that's what brief means. Okay, so item 2 is the election of vice chair. Do we have any nominations? Councillor Reisman?
I'd like to propose Councillor Kandai.
Okay.
She's been on this committee 2 years and has become increasingly knowledgeable of the issues, and I think it would be good to see her step up.
I agree.
Second that.
We'll all second it. Multiple seconds.
Got it,
First
Okay,
thing.
do you like to speak? Or?
Yeah, I think Councillor Kandai has done a fantastic job over the last couple of years. We want to see people step up and start to do these chairing and doing more stuff. I think it's fantastic that you're doing it. I'd like to see you in plans.
And blue.
And blue. And yeah, on those grounds, I think you're really stepping into the role. Congratulations.
All those in favour? That's it. Well done. So, item 3, apologies for absence. I've received apologies from Councillor Miller. Any others? Okay. Item 4 is declarations of interest. You receive any interest relating to business to be transacted at the meeting. Any declarations of interest? I see none. Item 5, public participation. Would you like to speak, sir?
All right.
Thank you.
It's not compulsory.
Okay. Item 6 is minutes. We'll go one by one. First, to approve the minutes of the Town and Community Committee meeting held on the 8th of April 2025.
I would propose, but I wasn't there.
All in favour?
Oh, yes.
Thank you. We don't have a lippy today, do we?
And Paul.
And for Paul. Paul is minuting.
Paul is Nicky.
Thank you, Paul. Okay, so item little 2 is to note the minutes of the Henley and Bloom subcommittee held on the 28th of April 2025. Yeah.
I'll second.
All in favour? Thank you. And finally, little 3 is to note the minutes of the events subcommittee held on the 29th of April 2025. Okay, right. That's all in favour? Thank you very much. Item 7 is the appointment of subcommittees, their terms of reference and membership. That's detailed on pages 15 to 18. Any comments or questions? Councillor Hinkley.
Yeah, can we, I'd like to propose that we move we keep the committee membership as is for Henley and Bloom, but with an eye of view to change it the next town community
Yeah, sure.
meeting.
Okay.
Will that be after the actual Bloom competition?
No.
Right, okay.
Oh, will it? I don't know.
I was just wondering when the date was.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Yeah, okay.
So it might be two meetings time, essentially.
Okay.
Well, we agree to
To a
defer it
future
to,
meeting.
we can do a future meeting, yes.
Yeah, we did it 2 meetings, the one afterwards on the 22nd of July. Yeah.
So we're going to review the membership on that.
Yeah, because we have representatives from different organisations. We just want to make sure that those representatives are the correct representatives for those organisations and that those people want to continue, which a good chair of Bloom would have done already. But
Seems like a sensible proposal.
Yeah.
Anyone seconding that proposal?
I'll second it.
Yeah, fine. All in favour? Thank you. That's carried. Any other comments?
On the bus working group, Do we have any plans for the bus services to change? Do we need to appoint it at this stage? I mean, it doesn't have to meet unless it has got something to consider.
Question I was going to raise as well. Do we actually need the bus working group to look at the 5-day bus service?
And yeah, we don't know who wants to continue on it. So it might be best to defer that as well, pending pending a future meeting of this committee when we decide it
It
doesn't.
actually occurred to me that sort of project completed. So I'll second that proposal and we'll kick it to the next meeting.
A future meeting. So it's
Yeah.
like a-
All in favour? You want to speak?
I've got.
Okay.
So the terms of reference talks about managing and monitoring the new Henley bus service.
Yeah.
So I would be keen that there is some monitoring elements, whether that is a bus working group, but it needs to be monitored.
It could be monitored to this committee instead, if that's what we decide. Mr. Mayor, sorry.
Oh, no, but this is all part of the same conversation.
No, I mean, I think to take any particularly drastic step, we shouldn't do it without talking to Councillor Ratchet.
Yes,
This is
that's
very
fine.
much his domain, isn't it?
But I think delaying it one cycle at least is fair enough.
Any question I was with the townlands working group, is there any ex officio demands from the mayor, or is it just simply a working group? If it's not ex officio, I'm fine. I just want to know if I have to be on it. If I don't have to be on it, then that's fine.
Ex officio is for the four standing committees,
Yeah.
subcommittees and working groups and so on. Generally, the chair of the relevant committee that they report to is asked, and unless he or she doesn't want to be part of it.
Because understanding orders, the chair and vice chair of the relevant committee are automatically on the such ex officio,
Yeah, unless they request not to be.
unless they
Yeah.
say not.
Yeah, that's right. So you can if you want, but you're not there. ex
So
officio.
on that basis,
And neither am I.
in terms of reference to include chair and vice chair of T&C.
Yes, that makes sense.
Well, as the committee is deciding on the membership, then in a way that is also the chair and vice chair of the standing committee stating whether they do want to be on it. So by approving it, it's also stating they either do wish or don't wish to be on it.
Okay.
Sorry, when do we say that? At the next meeting? That will be determined at the next meeting?
Which one are we talking about now?
We're talking about the bus working group, aren't we?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll decide the membership at the next meeting. We'll speak to Councillor Gavin.
Yeah, so that makes sense, yes.
Yeah.
On the Townlands working group, we haven't done much for the last 6 months, ever since the step-down beds went to the cabinet at OCC, and they carried out a review and decided not to make a change. However, with the new administration at OCC, we're waiting to see who the new cabinet member will be. I think we will be looking to continue the campaign and the discussions that we're having over the step-down beds and other issues as well. So I would like the Townlands working group, although it hasn't been very active in the recent months, to continue in its current form.
Okay. We've got all that noted. Okay. All those in favour? Thank you. Perfect. Okay. Item 8 is the communications manager update on page 21. So she's not here actually. Quite a busy report. She's obviously had a busy period. I had a look at the wedding page on the website. I thought it was really, really good. The online calendar works well, although I did come from just having a spreadsheet. I did also note that the feedback has been mixed on the later sites, which was amusing. It certainly hasn't generated conversation. Councillor Hinton.
I think there's later. I particularly liked the last bullet point under websites. I thought that was really good. Listing the meetings, not that anyone comes apart from the mayor or brother, the first sibling, or whatever the official title is. But it would be nice to see more people, or even just more people watching on YouTube. So I think that's really good to get that out. I love it, the fact that they're advertising the notice boards still. But I think that not many people look at them.
Yeah.
No, I think that's great. And also I just wanted to say about those signs, yeah, they were controversial. I didn't have strong feelings either way personally, but I did find it really amusing to actually walk past people taking pictures of them, talking on their phones. People actually contacted me several times in 1 week about them. I thought it was quite amusing, and it was obviously, you know, whether you like them or hate them, it got people talking. I think that was the point. So I actually thought it did exactly what it's supposed to. But I think also everything's been quite good online. I don't really go on Facebook as much as I used to, but I'm seeing that the Henley Town Council come up quite a lot, whether it's to reply to a comment or to advertise something. I sort of noticed today, we had good coverage yesterday of mayor making, last week BU Day, and then today I noticed that we'd started advertising the Mayfair at the end of the month.
Yeah.
So I think it seems to be really going quite smoothly. All the things that Daisy's been putting into place for quite some time now seem to be sort of coming to fruition and working well.
It took a very long time to get the website set up, but since it has been set up, it's improving every time I look at it.
Exactly.
That's the right direction to travel. So did anybody else have any comments? Councillor Wright.
Well, I was going to make the same point about the website. It's looking very good.
It is.
Using WordPress was an excellent decision.
Yes, wasn't it? Funny that.
Well, I don't wish to score any points or look backwards at all, but looking forwards, it is looking great. And I would like to back up Councillor Hinton's point about the litter notice. This committee asked the officers to carry out a litter campaign, and getting it on the front page can't be a bad thing. People are talking about litter, and so we've had a litter campaign, and whether or not the wording was appropriate or elitist, if people are aware that they should be putting litter in the bin, then that's job done, I think.
Just then it's bad publicity.
Well, yeah.
Exactly.
And as I say, that sometimes some individuals can be very hard to please.
Well, good point. Well made.
Yeah.
Councillor Campbell.
Yeah, I mean, if Daisy was here, I'd say, you know, great job on, especially around all the promotional campaigns and marketing. I think this is really underlining and emphasising the fact that we have declared a nature emergency, and these are some of the things that we are doing to try to address that. So the glyphosate reduction, you know, the hanging basket and being pollinator friendly. I know more to come about the bee town status in due course, but I think all of these are really great initiatives.
Great.
Councillor Moore, thanks.
Yes, it is a shame Daisy's not here, but if you're here, thank you, Daisy. Good report. You've been busy. One more?
One last question.
Yeah.
Again, it's great to see that the repair cafe is starting up next month. That's something that got stalled and delayed by when COVID hit us. It was about to start. And repair cafes are, other towns have done them. They're very successful. And I was wondering how it's going to be published. I looked at the web page earlier, and that's good. But I'm wondering if Daisy did talk about engaging with the Henley Standard and presumably Henley Herald as well. And I'm wondering if we make a special effort to publicise that so people make sure that it is prominently visible, and we get a good opening day, which I think is middle of June.
And also, where is it located?
YMCA, isn't it?
YMCA.
Yeah.
And for how many days each week?
It's a day
Once a month, isn't it?
We were straying into the town centre manager's report. Now,
We
I realise.
are.
It's the publicity that really
There's
is.
going to be some overlap. If nobody else has any comments on Daisy's report, we can move on to the town centre manager report. Okay, we'll do that. So agenda item 9. We've still got that low vacancy rate.
Yes, all good. A few new things coming, as usual, kind of normal turnover for the town. So, all good on that side of things generally. The repair cafes, we've found the right person who has gone straight in and set this up, and he's rather ambitiously. I thought he was going to do just one or two. He's got one a month virtually until the end of the year. So seems to know what he's doing and have a good team around him. So we should really support that. And Daisy will be doing a supportive campaign. Is in touch with them directly, and there'll be some publicity coming out really soon. I think probably after the Mayfair, so there's not lost in Mayfair stuff. I was imagining.
Could you tell us a bit about him and what he's done? Has he done one somewhere else or?
He's
Who's
in
he
that,
got on
he's in that
board?
kind of world of people. You know, he's an individual who has a network of people who like doing this kind of thing, mending, fixing stuff. I think he's been speaking with the Goring Cafe and others who a peer group of friends who have been attending and also operating these kind of events. So he seems really well placed and has just run with it, which is fantastic. I gave him, well, I'd already lined up the venue because I'd been speaking to them anyway. So that was one of his major ticks, which he didn't have sorted. So
How is it funded?
we're supporting it.
We're supporting it.
Yeah.
And do people pay to get things mended or make a
No,
contribution?
no,
or
the
anything?
cafe part is part of that. So there's income from teas and biscuits, cake and stuff like that. So, but the kind of setup cost is something
We
as a
hire the
council.
hall or hire the area
Yeah,
for the wine.
yeah, and it's, you know, it's small fry really for those kind of things. So, yeah, I think it's a great thing to do. I think it's in what do you call it? Not manifesto, what's the word?
Wish list.
Strategic plan. It was in the strategic plan, so it's great to have that firmly ticked.
Lovely.
Yeah,
Seems
that was a difficult one as well.
Yeah, I honestly thought it was never going to happen.
No.
Well, thank you for those that made it happen.
Could I ask what's happening to the old cook building? Do we know?
Yeah, we're going to go from having no kitchen showrooms or one kitchen showroom to having 3 kitchen showrooms. It's going to be in Cook, yeah.
Really?
New one on Duke Street. I think there's
Yes.
another one further along Reading Road. So we'll now have 3 where we once had 1.
God,
I don't know why. And then the opposite corner is going to be the Waring's
it's the
Bakery.
bakery, yeah.
Which is
Yeah,
fantastic.
which is great. Because that whole corner was a
That-
bit sort of
just-
needed lifting,
yeah.
didn't it?
It was a shame, we just got it organised with the Duke going in there, and we couldn't pull it. But the sports shop is a difficult one to fill, so that's good. Yeah.
Councillor Campbell?
Yes, so thank you for this report. I'd just like to know more information about the Mock Henley and Bloom walking tour.
Oh, yeah.
That's
That's part of the preparation for the judging of the Bloom entry. So a number of us take part in that and we walk the route and work out what needs to be done, which signs need to be cleaned, where the weeding needs to be done, and have we got the right route and that kind of stuff. So
okay.
it's a thing we did a couple of weeks ago with the Parks Department, Sheridan myself, and it kind of feeds into making sure we've thought of pretty much everything. So a hell of a lot of work, as Councillor Hinton said. The Parks team
Yes, absolutely.
cover so much,
Yeah,
and this is another huge thing, and is
Yeah.
a big focus for them.
yeah.
Aside from Green Flag, which is next week, so they've got that as well.
Next week, yeah.
This week,
This
Thursday.
week, yes,
Thursday.
I've got to be there
Thursday,
Thursday.
yeah.
That's
So
right.
it's already happened,
The mock one, yeah.
the preparation for the Henley and Bloom, that's happened.
Yeah, most
And
of it.
Was it all okay? Was there anything?
Oh,
Major?
there's still more to do in the next 2 months, but to make it as perfect as possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we will just keep on working on it for the next two months to make it as good as we possibly can.
Okay.
I was down at Mill Meadows. Marsh Meadows looks stunning at the moment. It's covered in buttercups. Have you been down there?
I haven't been to Marsh Meadows.
Absolutely stunning. And then people were taking photos of their dogs, with one of those classic photos. It's absolutely beautiful down there, and the guys are looking after it magnificently.
Councillor Campbell?
Sorry, I did mean to raise this in the communications bit. I wonder if I could bring it up here. So thank you. So that does remind me that Data did a little article in the May Henley Town Council newsletter talking about No Mo May to try to communicate, why it is that we're doing this. And I just wondered if there could be a bit of a comms, let's take some photos of our beautiful verges. Let's do some really positive messaging about it. And if there could be more of a, have you got a blooming verge outside your place? Share the photos, share what kind of bees are landing on it. I think it'd be really good to keep profiling it and keep showing how important it is and what a difference it is making to
If we're going to do this, then what we should do is actually approach the residents as well and ask them to participate. Because that's the large part of the community.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was.
Town clerk.
As it happens, I was just sent yesterday a first draft of the community engagement strategy from Katrina, our biodiversity officer, for basically a community engagement strategy around the climate and nature emergencies. So she's been working on that with Daisy, and then we're also going to work in partnership with Green Henley as well. So hopefully there will be a strategy coming forward in the next couple of months, hopefully.
Oh, brilliant. Look forward to that.
I actually think that given how nice Daisy's wedding page looks on the website, that maybe a Verge's No Mow May page could be created with photos looking similar. I think you could have a page about No Mow May on the website.
Yeah.
I'm sure she could make a nice looking page really quickly.
I mean, it does sound really boring though. Who's going to look at it?
These things.
I think it would look very nice with photos though.
It would look nice, just like, it's going to get like, what, 50 hits?
No.
It's a lot of work for 50 hits.
Yeah, but it's about what you've actually got on there.
I mean, it can be shared around on social media when we're talking about it, or maybe if somebody comments online, they could be referred to that page. So I think it'll get at least 51 hits actually.
Well, I'll have a look, I'll be 52.
On the Instagram and Facebook.
Instagram is the place to do that.
Yeah, there we are.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I also meant to follow this up with the repair cafe. So when Jill was asking really good questions, I think those are some of the questions that we're going to be asked about, where is it, how does it work, do I need to pay for it? So as long as, and I'm sorry, I haven't looked at this page yet, but as long as those kind of questions are being asked, then it just helps with the communication.
There'll be, sorry.
Yeah, fantastic. And also say during, we're coming up to Great Big Green Week and big festival that's happening on the Saturday, the repair cafe will be there for you to come and meet the people. So that would be a wonderful opportunity to come and, see them, meet them, have an idea of what they're doing.
Do I bring my kettle or my toaster or what do I,
for the Saturday
what, my bicycle, what are you actually going to be able to repair or my sewing?
When will the Green Henley?
Saturday, 7th of June. There'll be.
So you need to get moving on this very quickly. If you're going to get communications.
Yes, I think that would be something to work with Daisy about, come and meet the repair team on the 7th. That's a good idea. Yeah, thanks.
Perfect, thank you. The only other question I had actually is, do we know how many bus shelters are left to do?
More than have been done.
So
it's slow. Kind of been chewing the ear off quite a lot recently because they start and then they don't finish. So there's about 4 or 5 I think I spotted which have started.
Okay.
There's 12 to do.
Yeah.
12, gosh.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So
That's the trouble with having a bus service.
Sorry.
That's the trouble with having a bus service. You've got more bus shelters.
But in the meantime, I have had been replacing timetable cases and other stuff which wasn't there. So that's progress as well.
Right, I did have a comment on the Living Advent, so we actually move along now to item 10, which is the Living Advent calendar report. Thank you for your report.
Thank you.
And I think the only thing I wanted to say is that obviously in your report you have that the schedule is filling up. I think it'd be quite helpful if this committee received sort of fairly regular updates on what that situation is, how many venues have been agreed, how many charities have been agreed. We don't necessarily want to reveal that publicly, but we do want to know numbers, I think, to have visibility of how the event's sort of progressing. And I don't know if that means that we should have maybe a standard section of either yours or Daisy's report, or maybe it should go on progress reports. I'm open-minded, but some sort of frequent update every
Progress
That would be helpful.
Can I say anything?
Yeah, I'm totally in favour of this. I don't always go to all of the nights now. Like, I remember it started in 2011 and it was Julie Perigo. And it was just like, it's such an exciting, fantastic event, and thought, oh, this is kind of like a flash in the pan type thing, maybe. Won't like survive. And especially when Julie Perigo then moved on, you thought, well, of course it's not going to survive now. Nobody, I think, imagined that Richard Rodway would be Mr. Christmas and actually, completely run with it and make it even better than it originally was. And it's so important to the town. It's people look forward to this. People actually now come in Tenley for it. It's really special. I'm really glad that if there's an option for it to continue going, that we're taking that option. I think it does make sense for the town council to have oversight of it to ensure its success. And just to sort of keep all, like say, you want everyone to sort of organise and take ownership of their own evening, but that needs oversight for that to work. Yeah, I'm really in favour of it. I'm really excited by it. I think it makes sense, and I want the event to continue for another. Well, it's been going 14 years, another however many years. So,
Yeah.
all in favour.
Yeah, brilliant. Councillor Hoskins.
This was discussed at the event committee. And one of the things that we identified was that the Christmas fair was going to run from the 1st of December through until the end. And also this timescale is the same. And what we said was that we should actually try and combine the communications, not to stop them talking about themselves, but actually in terms of the council, we should have a communication which is linked both the Christmas fair and also the events committee.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
Yeah, one of the reasons why this is a good thing to continue is a fantastic community event, and once these things go, they're more difficult to get back, and that's the reason why we wanted to continue it. And also, mainly it's part of a kind of bigger attraction of a piece of Henley at Christmas.
Yeah.
You know, we have the Christmas Festival, which is a fantastic kick-off event for Christmas in Henley, followed by we have the Christmas market, which we're going to trial again this year, and then this kind of completes a really nice picture. And as you're saying, how you can then market that as Henley at Christmas as a whole is much more powerful. So yeah, that was part of the thinking, and we will certainly be doing that communication piece.
Excellent, thank you.
Councillor Kendall.
Yeah, I agree with all the comments. It would be a real shame if this didn't continue. When I moved to Henley 4 years ago, this was like, wow, I can't believe there is someone putting on an event every single night, lovely piece of entertainment, charity focus. Wow, I couldn't believe it. So I'm really pleased that there is this opportunity to take it on. I do want to potentially share or ask you to add, or whatever it is that you're doing in terms of organising it, the potential risks. So I know the approach is much light touch. I'm desperately trying to help with this festival that Green and Henley are doing, and it is incredible the amount of detail that goes into organising anything like this, let alone 25 nights, 24 nights. So I know it says it's light touch. I know it says minor offers of time, but just keeping on top of everything, I can imagine will take a significant amount of time, confirming, liaising, and there is a risk if something happens, then what? So I think it's great that we're doing it. I hope it is light touch, and I think it would be interesting to see what things we have in place. But there's also this talk about, if needed, the performing act for the evening, like the significant timescales are needed for that. And I suppose my final question would be, has there been some good communication with all the existing venues and all the existing entertainments? Has that communication happened in terms of, we're not stopping it, we are continuing it, we'd love you to be involved?
Yeah, the word is out there already. It's already been communicated that we're going to continue with it. And also, Richard kindly sent me an Excel sheet with every venue and every artist and every every charity that's ever done it. So we have a great starting point. Plus also looking at slightly different venues and stuff like that. So when I say that it's filling up, I would say we're kind of halfway with the event as such already, and that hasn't taken much work at all. And the great thing is, the reason Daisy and I wanted to do this together is because not only do we love the event, but she's an artist and a performer herself, has performed at this event many times. So, and she also has a network of artists and friends who could, if we need to call on them,
Brilliant.
be pulled into it. So it seems like it should be a good fit. And as I said at the end of the report, we'll review it after the event and see how we got on.
Yeah.
But I think the important thing is to not let it drop now, because it won't come back.
So you mentioned we're about 50% full, which is good already.
Yeah.
Because there's quite some time left. But can we get that kind of update?
Yeah.
Can it be maybe on your meeting, or would you prefer it on progress reports?
I think-
What does the committee think?
I don't want to put too much detail, obviously, because it's, you can't
Confidential.
reveal venues and we can't reveal, but numbers would be.
But we have to book compares, venues and acts. So there's three things that we can have a stat on.
Yeah.
What days are allocated.
Yeah.
Yeah, happy to do that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I think progress.
it's,
Progress reports, I think progress. Perfect.
you're going to have certain days that are popular. So at some point, you're going to have to be the overlord, aren't you, and say, well, you can have it, but you can't have it the day you want. You can have it that day.
Yeah, I've already done a bit of
Yeah,
that.
so at some point, you're going to have to do the Richard Rodway
Yeah.
job,
Yeah.
aren't you?
Yeah.
Of making sure that people actually,
Yeah,
and the same with acts, as
Yeah.
you said, you don't want the same sort of
no.
act. So there's quite a supervisory
Yeah,
role,
it
really,
is,
isn't
it
there?
is. But
Mm.
I have worked in events, so I've got a little bit of experience of managing multiple things at multiple times. And I've already done a little bit of that, the juggling around with, you know, this type of act has to go in this type of venue, for example, a bigger venue, a small venue. So I'm sure it'll be an interesting process.
I just had a question about, there used to be a board of people that run it, wasn't just Richard, obviously. And I just wondered what happened to that, if there was any.
Yeah, the only kind of additional people that have been kind of mentioned was someone who did the website for free, and then 2 or 3 other sponsors. And I assume as sponsors they might be the board you're talking about. So I think there's Blue Peak, Phil and Emma Booth were involved as sponsors, a couple of other people. So I think that might be what you're referring to. But I think Richard, as Mr. Christmas, was kind of putting most of the strings.
Do I use anything about progress reports?
If you want as a formal resolution.
Yeah, okay. So I propose that we accept the recommendation 5.1, but we add this to progress reports and we get updates to every T&C. Does someone second that? Thank you, Councillor Hinton. All those in favour? Thank you. And also, on the back of Councillor Hinton's comments about Richard Broadway, can I propose a vote of thanks to Richard Broadway for taking this on from Julie and keeping it going for all these years, because it's been wonderful. Seconded.
Perhaps we could ask the mayor to write a letter.
Happy to do that?
Yep.
Perfect. All those in favour? Thank you very much. Cheers. Right, item 11, finance, to consider the management accounts. Councillor Hoskins.
I have 2 questions. One relating to the Christmas festivities. Why was there a 0 in the budget? And then the second question is in terms of the Henley town bus service. What is the likelihood of the budget for that going forward?
I can possibly address those.
Yes, please, thank you.
So I believe that the Christmas festival had a budget of 0, as through sponsorship we were hoping to cover the costs. And similarly with the town bus service, that amount was planned in the budget, but the bus service started later than we had hoped due to various administrative issues, such as I think I had to wait 3 months to get a licence to run it for a start. So I imagine the budget going forward will be much the same, if not more, because we'll be running it for a full year.
But it will be for 5 days as well.
Yes.
So the budget for the coming year is 25,000.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay. Councillor Dodds.
The Christmas festivities, forecast to lose 13k, and we actually lost 26k, if I read this right. Obviously, looking towards the next Christmas event, we're looking forward to being much closer to break even, or even making some money out of it.
Yeah.
Is that what we're hoping?
Yeah, I'm actually preparing a report on this subject for a future meeting, which will be looking at the costs over the last few years and comparing and seeing where we're at and seeing what the future looks like.
That's a good idea. Thank you.
Okay.
And just from my perspective, I think we've got to at least try it. We've got to get a couple of years under the belt, figure out what we can do to get it going.
But as long as if we agree we're going to lose or put that amount in our budget to support it, but that's not sort of what the figures show really. But hopefully we will.
Yeah, I think we kind of have to, because, you know, earning that kind of money from sponsorship is literally something we've done once before. You know, it's not something that we've really got much experience in. So we have always had to dip in anyway and pay for everything ourselves. So I think that anything we get, however it looks there, is good, because it's a ridiculous amount of times more than we were having just 2 years before.
Councillor Iceman.
From memory, the sponsorship that you managed to secure 2 years ago was particularly,
The first year was,
that went really well.
Yeah,
That's where we first had the new lights, and we had the Christmas decorations and so on, where we had invested as a council, that you managed to cover a large part of that cost. I was going to ask about the 58k. Does that include some sort of allowance for the additional Christmas decorations, or the improvements we've had to make, or is that just simply other overheads that are included? In bullet point, in note 22, it says how the total Christmas cost.
Yeah.
Is there a lighting component of that, Christmas lights and decorations?
I believe the upgrading to the Christmas lighting infrastructure was covered by capital. So those costs there do not include the upgrading to the infrastructure.
Yeah. So this is the revenue deficit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Councillor Cameron.
Yes, is it okay to look at the nice graph on the other side? Is that all part of this item? I would just need someone talking me through what this graph is telling us.
Michael Lincoln.
Just want someone to tell me what this means.
So the blue is
So-
2023-24.
Yeah.
And the red is 24-25. The top one is for the bus service. And it's the bottom one's obviously the market, and then it goes along in months for the income. So, for example, the first one on markets.
Could we do the bus fare, the bus service? Because I'm struggling
Okay,
to
the
know
bus
how
service.
do we have a red bar for something for a month that hasn't happened yet? Like the bus service hasn't.
It's a rolling 12 month.
Okay.
So the latest, so February on the right hand side will be the latest month.
Most recent.
I do see your point there. Yes.
Yes.
And then the March at the beginning, that would be March 2024.
Yeah.
So it's always looking at the previous 12 months versus the 12 months prior to that.
Right.
But I can see how that one could be confusing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when did the bus service go 5 days a week? 'Cause would we
Start
not
of
then
April.
expect
April,
to
yes,
see
it was.
more higher red bars?
You
Show
should do
income.
from, yes,
April.
from April 2025. So yes,
So
so
when
you've
will
only
we
got up to
see
February.
the most
20.
recent 12 months? Because if we're in May, when do we see April on here?
So these are, so the graphs are only up to the end of February. It should be, because the management accounts are up until the end of March. So I'm not entirely sure why we don't have those bar graphs up to the end. There may be a good reason why they're not up to the end of March.
Okay.
Well, Julie has to receive the information from the operator.
Yeah, I guess so.
Potentially,
Yeah.
but yeah.
I mean, the real test will be in 12 months' time, how big the monthly income is compared to from the 5 day to the 3 day service.
I think Sarah's question might be kind of like, well, how soon do you see those figures?
Yeah, and it was, thank you for the whole, I hadn't realised it was this rolling 12 months, I was like, I don't understand it.
But the market one, we should know, shouldn't we? The market income.
she's only-
Both we should know by this stage. So I'm not sure why the bar
Yeah,
graphs
I
only
mean,
go to
that's
February.
easier for us to get hold of the marketing part than with the busing.
It's interesting how in both cases, February is the only month that isn't an increase year on year.
Mm.
I wonder why that is for both markets and buses. Are they connected in some way? Weather, yeah, maybe.
No one's got any money in February.
That's true.
Just,
Yeah, go ahead.
just about the bus, I've spoken to the bus driver a few times recently, and she's noticing a marked increase in passengers, yeah. So we should see that reflected in these figures.
That's good.
Soon.
Yeah, we'd expect both a pro rata increase for the extra 2 days, but also the fact that it's on every day make people get into more of a habit of knowing that it's there every weekday.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're expecting a double whammy when it comes to
That's
increasing our-
anecdotal feedback, which is really quite
Yeah,
hard
that's
to
right.
capture into a
That's what I've mentioned.
report, really, isn't it?
Well, it's a sneak preview of the great bar chart that's to come, isn't it?
Watch out for the future.
Okay, anybody have any questions on the management accounts, or shall we move on? We'll move on to progress reports. Last page, 29. Only comment I had here was that the bins, it's finally, it's finally approaching its end.
There's a couple, just to give you, there's a couple of the old bins you'll have noticed still on Marketplace. The reason they haven't gone is because they need to be dug out because they've been concreted in. They had to
We
be.
noted that the bus hit the bin outside on Hart Street.
One of my new bins.
Yeah, it's been lifted from the flags to make with it as well. It's been a blue mark on the side of the bin.
Is it broken?
The bin's still intact,
Usable?
yeah.
The bus?
Bus.
Which bus was it?
They're not- They just
Bus
look
is
as
not our
if
jurisdiction.
the bus is, the bin's been attached to the flags.
I'll check
The
it
flags
out.
was lifted and moved.
I'll check it out tomorrow, thanks.
I didn't see it today, I don't look up, obviously today was a little blurred. It was definitely there on Monday, on Sunday.
Yeah, sure.
Councillor Ashman, you already stated that the Townlands Group hasn't met for a while. Is there any update on Townlands? or-
Well, now that the excitement of the election is over and that there's a new regime in place at the county council, we should re-engage with the county council about the beds, about the step-down beds, also palliative care beds, and so I'd expect that to start to revive as a new cabinet officer is appointed.
And the ATM still rumbling on ever so
Very
slowly?
very
Yeah.
slowly. Yeah,
But we're still optimistic in
optimism is waning a little bit.
Yeah.
It's, I'm still trying to get something happening there, but
Barragata.
that
that
certainly is not going to happen.
No.
Unfortunately, no. It takes much longer than that to get these things going, but the landlord has gone quite quiet.
Okay.
They have heads of terms with their lawyer, and that's where it's got to.
Fair enough.
We did discuss banking facilities with the MP last week, Councillor Hunt and myself and Councillor Thomas, and there are still other directions we can go in as well to try and improve the story for access to financial services within Henley. We still don't understand why we didn't qualify for a banking hub, and he's working with us on that.
Yeah.
So it's another example of the actions that he's taking, which I hope will bear fruit. I mean, MPs can do things that councillors can't.
Fingers crossed. It's the bus. Yeah.
One cash point in a town this size, in the centre of town, is not right.
Yeah.
But it's enough for Cash Access UK, apparently. Gascoigne.
Oh, I heard that WH Smith has it.
It does.
Somebody mentioned that.
It's inside though, so
Inside.
it's opening
Yeah.
out only.
It's a fob
Same as
offer.
the,
Just
same as the
sent
post
us,
office,
really,
same as the post
Oh,
office,
yeah.
and the same as Nationwide.
Right.
Nationwide isn't even open 5 days a week,
We do have Tesco and we do have the one-stop shops.
which are.
Tesco is
24 away.
always available.
Yeah, that's
One-stop
outside.
shop is available most of the time because it's
And the garage, isn't it? They've got
Garage
one as
there.
well.
It's an
That's
extra-
true, yeah.
Garage,
So,
yeah.
There are others, but the town centre is, and if the Sainsbury one is out of money, then or failed in some way, then that's it.
We don't always do a £50 cash back, but that's the height of it. And all these depend on shops being open, and open hours is one cash point out of ours. And it's often empty.
In some ways, it's the lack of ability for businesses to have access to financial services that is arguably more important than cash for individuals.
I think the individuals might disagree with that.
Well, yes, but the commercial viability of the town is a problem.
Do you think we're going to have the same problem come regatta where the signals go down and no one can work their card in
the
the
5G
nightmare
master.
that it was?
We wait and see.
I'm still of the opinion that the 5G issue is all about that because it's got nothing to do with anything around there. It's to do with rejigging all their 3G services to 4G. It's got nothing to do with anything else.
Anybody else have any comments on progress report? I see none. Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.